Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm on a mission to revive my podcast and just be a little bit more regular. In the first year, I was doing weekly episodes. The second year, I was semi-consistent. And in the third year, I just recorded whenever I wanted to. And now I have a backlog of lots of topics that I want to speak to. And to honor creative energy, I'm going to get them all out there. And whenever a topic comes up, I am going to speak to it. I'm also playing with something new that if you would like to ask me a question, anything about emotions getting stored in your body, how to process your emotions, how to truly live your life and manifest all that you desire. So things around emotions, trauma, how your body is presenting and what messages it has for you, all the way through to manifestation. You can voice message me. The best place to do this is on my personal Facebook Messenger because it won't cut you off. And I'd love for you to introduce yourself, to let me know what question you have, and please give me examples. And that way I can respond more specifically to you. And of course, I get lots of ideas that is going to speak to other people that might have a question in similar vein. Just know that whatever you send me is going to go on the podcast. So I do not edit. If you ask me to edit, I'm not going to answer your question because I don't want more work for myself. So just have a nice clean audio sent to me. That'll get played and I will answer your question. I think the podcast previous to this, I did that for someone who dropped a really great message. And I really, really love responding more to that individual and the examples that they're willing to share. Okay, so on today's podcast, one that I've been wanting to talk about for a while is asking the universe for a sign or finding out what your sign is from the universe. I shared this on the Art of Listening to Your Body on Instagram, where I am most active, how I've been playing with this and asking the universe for some signs where I think, how is that possible? And then having it land. And I've had some clients who are like, oh, well, I'll try this. And they've got a bit of a skeptical energy, but then we're laughing because their sign starts landing. So you might also wonder, well, what does this mean when my sign from the universe actually lands? So I'm going to try and take you through this. First of all, I'll share with you how my signs from the universe show up without me really asking. Because for me, this is the fourth milestone in showing me that I've done the work and I am having a life of flow. And a life of flow, still, I experience challenges that I embrace. Okay. So the milestones that I talk about with my clients when they do the emotional work, clear out their emotional cup and create space to manifest more. The first is they experience getting less triggered. They feel more present. They start to see the space in between where time slows down. They can hear themselves. They can see the other person and what they're really meaning behind their words and their body language. And the fourth one is the serendipity and coincidence, or when the magic happens. Now, there are other milestones, but that's enough for most people to start with. So when I get my sign from the universe, it is serendipity, it is coincidence. It lets me know I am on the right track. I am following my path, my purpose, the life that I desire to live. And the ones that I see, the signs that I didn't really ask for, is I did just start noticing numbers. And the numbers that show up for me are the multiples of the same number. So it might be looking at the clock and seeing 1111 or 222 or 333 or 111. Okay. So that's for me. And some people call these angel numbers. I actually rarely understand what they mean, but you can always do a quick Google. If you're someone that notices that you see the numbers and you're like, hang on, is this a sign that I'm listening to this? And Jen also has this as her sign. You can do a quick Google and find out what your number combination is. Now, it could be 4444. So you can see multiples and multiples of it. Sometimes some of my clients pull over and they take a picture of their odometer when it's at 88,888 kilometers or 999. And I think it's just funny when we actually look down and we look at the clock all the time and we don't notice the time, but sometimes for some people, we really notice these multiples of the numbers. Now, mine seem to show up a lot on number plates. So it's usually triplets, sometimes quadruplets, of the same number. And I say that I live in a small town. My friend asked me, what is the population of Wanaka? Had to Google it, and it's about 15 or 16,000. So it's not that huge. But man, I see so many multiple number plates. I think it's a little bit bizarre. So now when I see it, I really acknowledge it. I thank the universe, and I am very grateful and appreciative that I feel like I am making the moves more towards expressing what I believe my soul purpose or desire is. And for any of those of you who are new to my work, in a nutshell, I feel like my soul purpose, the thing that really lights me up, is when I get to help people and teach them how to process their emotions, empty out their emotional cup. And more recently, I have been talking about, because I've been doing this for a good handful of years now, is that when you do that, you actually get to create space for more and manifest your life. So you are going to hear me talk more about manifestation, and it is real. And I have experienced different levels of it. Okay, so the multiples of numbers are my sign. I seem to see them on number plates. It's not necessarily something that I asked the universe for a sign around, but I noticed it and I'm appreciative of it. And I have this friend who I've worked with as well, who I call the queen of memes, and she just comes up with the best memes. And there was one group we were talking about signs from the universe. I can't remember. We were interacting, and she sent me this great meme saying, when you ask the universe for a signier sign. So I have done this. And back in November, December, I planted a seed actually a few years prior, and I was like, this is something that I want to do with my work. I'm going to be talking about it a little bit in future episodes. But then November, December hit. I was like, this is the time, right? Universe, give me a sign. I see the numbers, I see the number plates everywhere, but please give me a signier sign. And I remember hearing someone share about manifestation. It was a lady that I was in this beautiful group with for 2 years. And she mentioned the phrase to speak to divine energy in the universe and ask for support, something along those lines. And so I started saying in my morning affirmations, and I speak out my desire statement out loud, my affirmations, what I'm grateful for, what I'm looking for support in. I do that when I'm driving my daughter, after I've dropped her off and I'm driving home. I've got about a 15-minute drive to where we've moved to now. And I would start with, dear divine energy and universe, thank you for all the signs that you are providing me that I can see, and all the signs that I am yet to be able to see. Then I had made a decision. This is the move that I'm going to make that is going to help me express even more of my soul purpose and desire, because I'm very much about, we all have a purpose in our lifetime. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. And I believe for our soul to be able to ascend is to be able to express that soul purpose. And some people won't, and that's okay. Maybe that is their purpose in this lifetime, but they will come back and they will repeat it in another lifetime, different shape, way, or form until they get it. So I'm on a mission for my soul to ascend, and let's see what happens. So I said, can you give me another sign? And then I think it was within a couple of days, if not on that day, I was driving to town. Maybe I said that in the morning, and then I was driving to town to pick Violet up from school. And then just in the town, a few minutes down the road from us, I had 3 cars in a row with triple numbers. I cannot remember what the numbers were, but I just laughed. I was like, thank you, universe. Okay, I've got it. I'm moving now. Okay, I'm going to go with what I said. If you gave me a sign, I said I'd commit, and now I'm committing. Now, that was me asking for a signier sign. I got it and I listened. Now, you might keep on listening and asking for a signier sign. Now, this is where history repeats itself. History repeats itself when we are not learning the lesson in different shape, ways, or forms, and we can keep on getting the signs from the universe if we're looking for them, if we're aware enough, if we're quiet enough to be able to see them. And sometimes we won't believe them. And that's the inner work. And this is where you might receive support. So I saw my sign and I said, all right, let's go. I made the decision and things started changing. in my business, which really is an expression of everything that I am, everything that I do, and everything that I be. Okay, so some of you will say, well, what is the universe trying to tell me when I am seeing these little signals? Now, some people will have animals, insects, all sorts of things, and it'll come to me, and I'll try and share a few examples for you as to how you can find your sign. But some people will say, well, how do I know what the universe is trying to tell me when I'm obviously seeing my sign? So one, I feel like if you have chosen to follow your soul's purpose, whatever it is you desire, and you are making moves, it's like a little tick affirmation, you're in flow. That's what I used to see. Then the other thing is, if you have asked the universe for a sign to give you confirmation that the thing you want to do, it's okay to take action and take the steps, maybe take the risk, take the big leap, the quantum leap, whatever it is, that is what that sign is telling you. So when I saw the 3 number plates in a row of I saw them consecutively, the triple numbers on the number plates, it's like, I was saying to the universe, this is what I want to do. Give me a sign. It gave me the sign. And now my job is to honor that commitment. It played its part. It did exactly what I asked. Now go. So I'm in very much the space of playing with concepts, playing with energy at the moment. And I'm just waiting to see. But I'm doing the work in between as well to become energetically aligned. So when you start to see the signs, it's either to tell you, yep, you're on track, you're in flow. And I love it when I see my sign, the numbers on the number plates, even when times feel challenging. Because as I said, a life of flow is not without its challenges. Challenges hit to help you work out whether or not you're ready to hold more of the success that you desire. It is the universe testing you. Can you hold this because you want more? Success energy is really big energy, and I would say in some respects bigger energy than challenge energy. Okay, so yeah, you're on track, or that you asked me for a sign to make the big move. Here's your sign. Go do it. Honor your commitment. Okay. So that was my personal experience. And then maybe I asked for a signier sign and I tuned in, and I'm going to take you through this process in a minute. How did I come up with my next sign? I said, okay, this is really what I'm going to do. And if you can give me a signier sign once again, and I'm not going to ask for any more, what is the sign that you're going to send me that tells me just go once again? And a wood pigeon came up. Now, I know that I don't have to see a live wood pigeon. It could be a wood pigeon in a picture. It could be someone talking about seeing. It is sometimes we really control how that sign's going to show up. So I just want to share that. But my mind did go to, okay, a live wood pigeon. Where the frick am I going to see a live wood pigeon where I live? In Wanaka, or I live in Queensbury at the moment. They're not really that common, and they're not really common around here. Okay, and this is my mind just working with the evidence of, because I haven't traveled since 2019. Hopefully there's some travels on the cards for us middle of this year. I haven't traveled since 2019. I've just felt really comfortable where we've been. And I actually rarely go out of Wanaka, Queenstown area. So thanks, universe. Where the frick am I going to see a wood pigeon? So about a few weeks later, I organised a horse trek down in Invercargill. This lady posted her beautiful horsey accommodation, and I got a couple of girlfriends together and we went down. And I usually hate it when my horse spooks, but I took my more chilled horse, Luna. She's the blue roan, the one that's got the dark face and the silvery body. And she is only 5 years old, but she's just got such a steady temperament around her. She's an old soul. She's been here in lifetimes before because she just looks after people. Anyway, her spook is very slow and steady, so I don't get too shaken by it. Whereas Tilly, I'll usually let out a little squeal or a scream. Anyhow, we were riding down Invercargill, which is the very south of New Zealand, on these tracks, and we were in forest and we were next to a beach. So we're riding in the forest and my horse spooks. But a wood pigeon flew past me And straight away, I was like, oh my God, it was a wood pigeon. I've never been so happy when my horse spooked. It's an easy one to sit on Luna, but a wood pigeon has a very distinctive sound when it flaps its wings and moves past. So I just got a glimpse of it, but I knew it was a wood pigeon, and the other ladies with me knew it was a wood pigeon as well. So I was so happy that my horse spooked. Never have I been so happy because I got my sign from the universe. And I started rambling on about my sign from the universe and how I asked for it. And I thought, where am I going to see one? And just a few weeks later, thank you, universe, you give me my sign. Okay, it's really go time. And then I got back to Wanaka, and I've been meaning to catch up with my friend out West Wanaka way, my horsey friend, my bestie that I met through her selling me my first horse, Tilly. She was selling on behalf, Sam. I'm going to give her a shout out. And she'd moved out there, and I haven't been out to visit her in a long time. So made the time to go out and visit. It was just beautiful. And um, we were sitting on her lawn journaling. She gave me this really beautiful journal from Dreamy Moons, and we decided we're going to journal together. So we sat out overlooking the lake at her new place on the beautiful lawn, and a wood pigeon went past. So here I am, really excited again. Apparently they're a little bit more common out there, but here I am seeing wood pigeon in the early parts in January 2024. And then I see one maybe a week or two later at my friend's place. And then one of my clients who knows that I had the wood pigeon as my sign, which is when I did my social media post on Instagram, the art of listening to your body, that is where I'm most active. That is where I will usually write stuff, and my podcast is where I will usually speak to it in more context. She actually just lives up the hill, down the way. She can actually see my house from her house. And she told me about how she saw two wood pigeons, and it's really beautiful because she's just seeing pairs of everything. And she saw two wood pigeons flying down my way, and she wondered if I had seen them. Now, that would have been a good enough sign for me that she had seen them and she thought to speak to me about these wood pigeons. Okay, so the wood pigeon. And I actually then realized I do have a painted piece of artwork of a wood pigeon, and it's sitting in Violet's room. But I saw these live wood pigeons, stories of, it was super cool. So universe says go, and I'm going, and I'm now holding the space of my desire a little more. I hope to share more of that in future podcast episodes. But what I want to do is take you through what is the practice, how is it that you find your sign? Okay. So it's really easy, and it's not going to take you many hours of meditation, and you might be able to tune into this if you're in a quiet space. You might be able to do it whilst you're listening to me on your drive or on your walk. And I really like to get people to tune into their intuition, the first thing, and just trust it. Okay, now I will say this might depend on how much work you've done on yourself, but also you may have done no personal development work, emotional development work on yourself, and you might still be able to tap into this. So all I want you to do is be in a quiet space and close your eyes down and ask the universe, can you give me a sign that I'm on the right track? Can you give me a sign that I really should make this move that I'm a little bit indecisive about? Okay. And what is the sign that you're going to give me? That's all you have to ask. Now go with the first thing that comes to your mind, no matter how crazy it is. And I want you to trust that. And I'd love for you to share with me what that sign might be. So usually my personal Facebook profile, not my business Facebook, but my personal Facebook profile, Jen Ong, or on Instagram, The Art of Listening to Your Body. You can send me a message. And it's even more powerful if you share what your sign is. So either you have people or you share it with me. Tell me what your sign is, and I'm going to tell you. Let me know when you see it. And sometimes what will happen is you will completely forget about it until you see it. Okay, I don't want you to hang on to it. Just close your eyes down and ask the universe, I want a sign to let me know that I'm in flow, or it might be, I'm ready to make this big move, but I'm not too sure. Can you give me a sign? Can you give me a big fat go? Tell me what that sign is, and I will honor that commitment. And then just tune in and find out what your sign is. It might appear visually, it might just land for you, and I want you to trust it no matter how crazy it is. Okay. Now, I have had someone say, I win the lotto. I'm like, that one I'm going to tell you to try again. And it can be anything. So this is where I want to share maybe how this practice started for me, and also some of the other signs that my clients have asked for and they've seen, and sometimes they've still doubted it. I'm like, what are you doubting? The universe says go, and it'll keep giving you signs until you listen. History repeats itself. So I remember being in this group, and there was a woman in this group who was really into manifestation. And I just loved her story where her universe sign from the universe was, I see a pink feather. And she was in the middle of the city, and it's like, where am I going to see a pink feather? And one day a pink feather floated down and dropped in front of her feet. So that was a story that triggered me. I'm going to say thank you, Anna, if she listens to this. That triggered me into, okay, I'm going to ask and I'm going to play with the universe and energy to give me a sign. And then I shared my story just now, the angel numbers, the triple numbers on the number plates, the signier signs, the number plates coming 3 in a row, which I've seen again since, and also the sign of the wood pigeon, which I felt like was a little bit impossible. So some other signs that have come up is I've had people, a crow, a magpie. It can be a crow doing a certain thing. It can be dragonflies is one of my beautiful clients' signs. Butterflies, white butterflies, blue butterflies, kookaburra. And I'm going to go into some of the specifics of these because they are really fun stories. Because I don't see dragonflies. I actually saw my first one during the summer and I took a photo and I sent it to my client, but she freaking sees them everywhere and she does not live very far from me. And she sees lots of mating dragonflies and red dragonflies and blue dragonflies. She just sees them everywhere. I've seen one in summer. I've had someone else that remembers their sign is that white butterfly. And when you do the work and you've got a level of awareness and you're not too busy in your mind, you'll notice your sign, just like I noticed my triple numbers, my angel numbers showing up on car number plates or on the clock. And there was a time where I felt like she had lost a little bit of trust in herself. And I said, okay, you want to make some moves. Let's just tune in and ask the universe for a sign that supports you. And if you see that sign, I'm going to tell you that is your big go. That's the universe saying yes, and you honor that commitment. And people are like, all right, I'll give it a go. And then I received a voice message from her about an hour later saying, well, you'll never guess what. I walked outside. And actually, the first time she saw the white butterflies was when she was on her 7th floor apartment. And then I think it's a little bit bizarre to see butterflies that high up. And she lives in the city as well. Anyway, the second time was, wow, you'll never guess what. Just been a little bit curious. I walked out and I saw white butterflies. Not just one, but a ton of white butterflies. And my message back was, universe says go. Take the action, trust it, and see what happens. Now, that does not always mean that life is going to be peachy and cream after that. Sometimes we get hit with continued challenges with the universe asking, testing, are you able to hold this challenge because you really want more? What you're asking for is big. Can you hold the energy of success? Okay, that might be another conversation. Then what was the other one that I talked about? It was the kookaburra. And this was quite funny. And I have to say, she might listen to this, or I'll tell her to listen to this, is I said, so what's your sign? And I play with this with some of my groups very randomly. I'm like, all right, let's just tune in for like 30 seconds and tell me what your sign is. Share it, let it go. And when it happens, you let me know. And I receive messages all the time from people. I saw my sign. And I say, universe says go. Okay, so she's like, a kookaburra driving in front of my car. I was like, okay, that's pretty specific. All right, let me know when it happens. This woman never sees kookaburras. And then probably in a very short span of time, it was strong enough for her to share it with us is, you'll never guess what. I had a kookaburra fly directly in my car like it was trying to kill itself. And then I had another one and another one, and they just kept on going. All right, universe says go. Then there was a period of time where she has stopped seeing her sign. And I'm going to say maybe like lost a little bit of trust in the process, because I love working with people and getting them to a place of intuition and knowing where they make those intuitive decisions that don't really make logical or practical sense. And people have the fear for them, but that's where I love to play. But I want people to hold the trust that this is what they're meant to be doing. This is the next move, the next evolution, the next growth in themselves. So she hadn't seen it for a while. And I said, oh, just, tap in. Made some moves. And sure enough, soon after, within the week, she got her sign. I can't remember if it was this one or the first one. Again, like the kookaburra trying to like suicide dive in front of her car. And this is just where you look at people, you have your people to share with, and it's just so much fun. So those are a few examples. I've got a lot more. I can't think of them off the top of my head. Just tune in and ask the universe for a sign. You might want to ask if you're in flow. You might want to make a big move like I did for the last couple of years, planting that seed, and then all of a sudden feeling like, right, I'm ready to go in November, December. I tuned into the universe. I got a big fat sign. I got a signia sign. I asked for a signia sign. I got that. Universe says go. Honor the commitment. Okay. So I know that when I shared this on social media, I had a bunch of people share in the comments, which was really cool. And I had some people questioning things, and I gave a little bit more support, but try not to overthink this. So I said, maybe it'll be a little bit affected if you haven't done any emotional personal development work. But I also think that sometimes people don't have to do this and they can just tap into manifestation. But it's got to be intentional. You got to ask for it and wait and receive. And then when you receive everything you desire, what are you going to do about it? Honor the commitment. So the sign can show up in life right in front of you. But as I said, the wood pigeon could have shown up with people talking about it, someone talking about them seeing it. Then I would think, oh, it's even closer for me. I could see a picture. I could flip a page. I could look at a magazine cover, and the wood pigeon could have been there. And I do think it was pretty cool that I got to see them live in the flesh, hear them, not once, but twice. So ask your universe for the sign, and you can find me under Jin Ong on my personal Facebook page, and you can share that sign with me, and I'll celebrate it with you when you see it, and I will hold it in my desire that you see it as well. Or you can share with me on Instagram, The Art of Listening to Your Body, and I would love to hear what your sign is.